Oh, we left off straight leg, right? Did working gallbladder?
Yep.
Okay, so we find ourselves here. And now we'll do this. Too much? Oh, this is sidelying. We'll run back for a second. Cool. Thank you. I'm gonna go around this way. Have a sip of tea.
Like your approach.
So come, Neil. Don't wait for the door. Little compression here. Remember when we were working on the lower leg? You know, we were talking about the gallbladder meridian. Remember? Before lunch? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is the beginning part of the gallbladder meridian up here at the head. So we're just going to work that whole channel. So I'm just using here the inner eminence, palm of the hand, just sinking in, compressing. And I'm going to come and sit, if this is comfortable for you, in seiza, right up against the person. I'll take my arm and place under here so we have nice control of the shoulder girdle. Take my thumb and come up, and here's the mastoid process, the bony protuberance behind the ear. I'm just going to come back about a thumb width up underneath the occipital ridge. Just a nice little indentation here. I'm just going to press and lean back. This is one of the acupressure points, gallbladder 20. It's called wind pond. And a lot of stagnant energy from the gallbladder meridian has a tendency to settle here and collect, and that's why it has some responsibility for a lot of different types of headache and just overall mind muddleness, when we're trying to think and do too much. So it has a tendency to filter through the gallbladder meridian, and the stagnation has a tendency to pool at this low point here, gallbladder 20. So it's also in the suboccipital muscles. So it's a good point to work to help free up the neck. And I'm just going to work down the shoulder, down the neck rather. So I'm behind the SCM. Here's the SCM. And come to the top of the shoulder here. So I'm use the pads of my fingers and come into the top, and then just rotate this way. And what you're going to feel is a little lump, and that's an acupressure point, gallbladder 21, which is customarily used to help relieve pain in the neck and the shoulder. So you can feel that on yourself. It's about halfway between the base of the neck and the acromion shelf. On the highest portion of trapezius, there's a little noticeable lump there. So stretching, stretching. So when I lean back, you can see how it opens the channel here, opens up the attachments of the muscles from the skull. And then hands on either side of the shoulder girdle. I'm just going to do some nice mobilization here. Try to free the scapula up off of the ribs. And if you can come around here, you can see that I'm going to displace the shoulder forward so the vertebral border of the scapula is more pronounced. and I'm going to take my fingertips and place them right underneath here. And I'm literally going to hook up underneath the inner border of the scapula and try to lift the scapula up off the ribs a little bit, because it has a tendency to get glued down, but also it helps open up the front of the body where the pecs are pulling the shoulder anteriorly. So I'm just literally letting my body weight to come back. So this hand supporting front of the shoulder and just leaning back. Pressure's okay? Where my fingers were, now it's my toes. Okay? So my toes are up underneath scapula. Okay, let's stop there and we'll go through those ones.